established by the Nigerian president.
The commitment demonstrated by both presidents was very palpable.
Governor Dapo Abiodun is on an investment drive in Rio. For a state that prides itself as the industrial capital of Nigeria, the state governor highlighted the investment opportunities in the gateway state, including mining, agriculture, livestock, hospitality, oil and gas, among others. He is also seeking partnership in power plant development, renewable energy, technical and vocational training for youths of the states.
We have a region in our state that's the deepest sea point in Nigeria called the Olukola region, where there's a planned Olukola natural gas project in the offing, OKLNG. This place has been identified as the right place to have a fertilizer plant. So we welcome partners from Brazil to set up with us a fertilizer plant in Ogun State to export back to Brazil.
There's a lot that already exists in terms of backbones for industry, which is why Ogun is also very industrialized. It's one of the most industrialized states in Nigeria.
Managers of the Nigerian economy also explained various reforms being carried out by the Tinubu's administration to remove the macroeconomic distortions and attract domestic and foreign investments.
We are on the right track in terms of growth, in terms of inflation, in terms of the external position.
In Nigeria today, you have stability in our financial system. We have a tight, very tight monetary system that ensures that inflation is gradually beginning to trend down. The significance is that the foundation for growth is being established.
They assured the potential investors of a friendly business climate and protection for investments in Nigeria. In Rio de Janeiro, Musbau and Wahab, NC News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria has made a strong appeal for global cooperation in addressing challenges of climate change and health inequity as the world heads towards COP30. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga made the appeal in a message from President Bola Tinubu at the 17th meeting of the Global South and Emerging Economics Bloc, BRICS, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The foreign minister urged the bloc to lead for a transformative agenda that will give more attention to environmental degradation, climate change, and healthcare inequalities threatening the global south. Yusuf Tuga highlighted Nigeria's climate reality, deadly floods in Mokwa, spreading desertification in the north, and rising sea levels in the Niger Delta. All this, he said, the continent contributes the least to global emissions. Tuga therefore urged BRICS to move beyond what he described as sterile and toothless diplomacy and seize this historic opportunity to drive global action that truly delivers for vulnerable nations. Nigeria's status as a giant on the African continent is on display as investors are taking advantage of the nation's policies on ease of doing businesses. One of such investors is in Magama local government area of Niger State, building Hydropolis-free zone, a world-class modern city to accelerate industrial development in Niger State and Nigeria at large. A federal government delegation, including the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, visited the site. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara was in the entourage.
Niger State in north-central Nigeria accounts for the country's largest landmass, with abundant resources in food and power, potentials that are attracting investors and innovation from across the world. In the bank of Kanji Dam in Magama local government, this 3,000 hectares of land is playing host to the ongoing multi-trillion naira Hydropolis Free Zone project, with about 30 billion naira infrastructural project completed.
If 10 billion is not going to be available for you, I wonder who else it will be available for.
This is an example that at the time that some people are thinking that investors are leaving this country, investors are actually coming to Nigeria.
As a flagship project of Mainstream Energy, the project is deeply rooted and driven on public-private initiatives to promote various activities like manufacturing, real estate, tourism, and agriculture. Aquaculture Resources Limited is already leading the way with the full operations of this mega fish farm using a section of the Kanji Lake that is already providing thousands of tons of fresh fish to Nigerian markets.
This is an indication that on the land and in the water, Nigeria's agricultural revolution is on course.
The only way we can achieve, Mr. President's, objective and goal in terms of industrialization, in terms of accelerating it, is with the efforts, of the private investors and the private people. And what I've seen here is highly commendable, both in terms of the free trade zone and in terms of the aquaculture resources. We require, government intervention by way of its agencies like the BOI.
Since the coming of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, first he established the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, which has an 800-kilometer coastline and then inbound waterways that also support this kind of venture. If you match that with also the novel Ministry of Livestock Development, and you now know that the president feels that there is the need for Nigerians to actually have sufficiency in food production. That's the only way that our sovereignty can be guaranteed.
The investors are encouraged with the commitment of the federal government representatives.
Honestly, it's well reassured, not only for us, stakeholders, but for investors that are willing really to join us and, to join this team for a very wonderful future, at least in terms of what we have on the ground.
Seeing is believing. So we brought them here all the way from Abuja. No matter how you try and show and sell this product, unless you bring people here to come and see for themselves, there's no way you can convince anybody to come and put money here.
Conceived in 2015, the project is a demonstration that with the right policies and synergy among the subnational governments and private investors, development potentials are limitless on Nigerian soil that is full of abundant natural and human resources. From Magama local government in Niger State, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The National Orientation Agency is worried over growing spate of insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Issues of youth restiveness, increasing rates of migrants into the FCT are part of growing serious security concerns, and the agency is urging members of the public to always be at alert. Kenneth Nanim reports that the awareness campaign is being championed by the director, FCT chapter of the NOA, Acharu Okwaluwa.
These are the foot soldiers of the National Orientation Agency who move from street to street, carrying out a one-on-one campaign, educating and enlightening the public on the policies, programs, and other activities of the government. From streets around the Federal Secretariat, Abuja, to the mini markets within the area, they continue to enlighten the public on the consciousness of their environment. They have 3 specific messages being conveyed using the Nigerian languages. The public is being reminded to shun violence, be cautious of intruders with ulterior motives in their domain, as well as the pressure on residents as a result of housing deficit in the FCT.
We collect our information from the grassroots, and then we know what the society really needs at every moment. So we know that yes, the influx of migrants to the FCT and the housing pressure is a big issue. And we know that yes, youths are the major instruments that are used to disrupt activities here in the FCT. So that's why we have decided to come out to put these 3 issues together to sensitize to people to make FCT a better dwelling place.
The agency is also seeking collaboration of stakeholders to ensure that lives and property of Nigerians are safe and secured at all times. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. More stories will follow after this break.
Let's have credible elections at the local government so that these credible people can manage the funds of local government properly.
There are a lot of respected traditional rulers in the state who can say, look, enough of this thing. Mr. Governor, welcome. Thank you for coming. When you win, what will you do?
I was the first woman that mobilized women within the local government to form the National Council of Women Society by creating awareness in women that they must serve, they must be part of what is happening within their community.
If you stop expenditure on infrastructure, how do you now attract investments?
The state governors, the presidency, that the federal government and the local government are all waiting for revenue from crude oil.
Every state has something peculiar. So the emphasis now, if your local government has something peculiar to that particular local government, the emphasis should be keep producing that particular product.
We need to do three things. Prevent the ability of the terrorist groups to generate funding, their ability to recruit, and then their ability to access weapons.
The traditional ruler gives me a title. I sit in the front row in the church, or if I'm going to mosque, when I'm coming, people are passing in God's own house. What am I doing? I'm mentoring a new generation who think that the only way to be taken seriously is to be seen to have a lot of money.
Good Morning Nigeria, live every weekday between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on the network service of the NTA.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Getting around the challenges that face vulnerable segments of Nigerians places a lot of demand on scarce resources, but adopting innovative solutions through strategic learning makes the journey faster and easier. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu said this at the opening session of Global First Partners Academy in New York and expressed readiness to learn and build more capacity for the demand of her office. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
A First Lady must on day one show up, be presentable, have a platform and begin to serve. That is one of the opening statements welcoming First Ladies from around the world who are attending the 3rd Annual Global First Partners Academy in Manhattan, New York. The Academy, organized by Global First Ladies Alliance in collaboration with Columbia University Millman School of Public Health, is an executive leadership training program that sharpens the focus of members and offers extra support.
But our program exists to help speed up the progress to a time when the office of the first spouse or first partner, and we do hope that there are more and more first gentlemen, has infrastructure, clear expectations, support, and respect needed to allow First Ladies to hit the ground running.
Especially when you have this title without entitlement. It's quite tough.
A title without entitlement or adequate resources on one hand and a large population to cater to on the other hand. That is how Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, who joins other participants at the Academy, captures the demand of her office as she expresses a firm resolve to remain innovative and flexible in her task.
The challenge there is always financial. In a country like that, how do you now come up? But you know, whatever it is, it has its blessing, especially when people trust you and see the work you do and help kept coming, and I love that.
Her special address at the Academy is expected to highlight her transformative interventions for children, women and the youths in Nigeria. The next few days at the Academy will focus on strengthening the leadership skills of participants, enhance their impact and office efficiency, as well as build a global leadership community among them. From Manhattan in New York, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
There is a call for Nigeria's trade policy to be structured in a way that supports industrialization with a strong focus on cassava production. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria who made this call are of the opinion that the President's commitment to food sovereignty can be achieved by ensuring food is available, accessible and affordable in line with the economic potential of cassava, which they described as a wonder crop. Thomas Ogbetere reports.
Guest on Good Morning Nigeria stated that cassava can significantly boost GDP, create jobs, and drive exports. They noted that only 33% of Nigerian 93 million hectares of arable land is used, and cassava, which grows easily across the country, has many byproducts and industrial uses, including ethanol production.
But you know, because of the diversity of our country and the other challenges, because we are not operating in a vacuum, and so we have to recognize that no matter what you have as a good technology, it can be applicable somewhere, but it cannot be applicable everywhere at the same time. So all the diversity issues have to be brought on board.
Cassava and bioethanol, like the Honorable Minister had mentioned, has a lot of synergy. But there's one missing link to cassava that people rarely discuss, and that is livestock management.
The guest urged the government to strengthen the market ecosystem surrounding cassava to maximize its economic value. They believe that with sustained policy support and government attention, cassava production can become a game changer for Nigeria's economy.
I think government is also started doing some interventions, which is very good through the Nigeria Agricultural Development Fund, and also through Nigeria Cassava Investment Accelerator.
Can actually export 700 to $800 million worth of cassava. What of the bioplastic? The global bioplastic market is projected to be $385 billion. If we can, and it's growing.
They concluded that beyond promoting self-sufficiency in food, cassava hold a promise of industrial growth and export potential. Prioritizing cassava, they say, is not just a strategy for food security, but a long-awaited solution to job creation and national economic growth. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
And while giving insight to Nigeria's evolving energy policy landscape, the guest on Good Morning Nigeria, Dr. Muda Yusuf, commended Dangote Refinery's groundbreaking 720 billion naira investment in a CNG-powered truck to facilitate petroleum products distribution nationwide. Dr. Yusuf described the move as a potential structural shift in Nigeria's fuel logistics ecosystem, the one that could significantly reduce subsidy pressures, ease inflammatory trends, and boost fiscal sustainability. He emphasized the initiative's far-reaching implications for economic development and job creation.
Refinery has been exporting petroleum products, particularly Jet A1, diesel, and the rest of to Europe, to United States, to Saudi Arabia. That is good for our country. That is the kind of capacity that we should support, both for Dangote and for any other industry.
The marketing expert emphasized that Dangote's move to bypass traditional fuel distribution chain and offer credit to retailers could disrupt existing supply chains, but will rather improve efficiency. He called for supportive government policies to help MSMEs and rural businesses benefit from such initiatives.
Self-sufficient. Whether it is in pharmaceutical, whether it is in agriculture, whether it is in petroleum products, whatever sector it is.
He also noted that the project aligns with Nigeria's gas monetization goals and urged the government to focus on infrastructure, regulatory reforms and incentives to attract more private investment in the energy sector. The first round of the 2025 Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Week has officially commenced in Kogi State alongside the rollout of the human papilloma virus vaccine and commemoration of Motherhood Day. Jonathan Omajali reports that the wife of the state governor, Safinat Usman Ododo, flagged off the program in Lokoja.
With the team, Healthy Beginnings, Hopeful Futures, The week-long campaign is part of efforts to address Nigeria's troubling maternal and infant mortality rates. According to a 2023 report by the World Health Organization, Nigeria ranks second globally in maternal deaths, recording 1,047 deaths per 100,000 live births. The biannual MNCH week aims to provide critical interventions such as vitamin A supplementation, deworming, routine immunization, and maternal health services, particularly in underserved communities. Also included in the program is the introduction of the HPV vaccine, which targets 9-year-old girls as a preventive measure against cervical cancer.
So the gathering today is for us to remind ourselves on the very important need to pay serious attention to maternal and child health, to also encourage the women and the children to have good health-seeking behavior, to have good demand on our health facilities.
We did this maternal and child health week today to ensure that, just to encourage our mothers to at least ensure that they attend antenatal essential services that we render in all our primary health cares.
Speaking at the flag-off ceremony in Lokoja, the wife of the governor, Hajia Sefinat Usman Ododo, represented by the secretary to the state government, urged parents and caregivers to prioritize the health of their children by embracing vaccination and other available services.
In Kogi State, when you are pregnant, you don't pay for your medical care. For antenatal, even pregnancy during delivery, there is health insurance for it. The first 5 years of the children's birth, you don't pay. So why will you not go to hospital when you don't have to pay for it?
The campaign runs from July 7 to 11 across all 21 local government areas of the state. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
To unlock Africa's potential, US-LAC Africa, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has launched an initiative to empower 50 million youths through technology and entrepreneurship. The program aims to harness the talents of Africa's young population for sustainable development. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
With $100 million investment spread over 10 years, the program will offer training, mentorship, and startup support to help young people gain digital and business skills. It aims to shift them from being consumers to becoming creators and job providers.
I'm going to be giving them scholarship, for a better training, and I call it overseas internship.
By the time we are sending out youths 10 per local government for the first phase, to go outside and have skills to come back, it should be easy for them to get their visas.
The initiative also targets 10 youth-focused local governments across the country, sponsoring talented ones who show promise in innovation. Once identified, they will be selected for advanced support, turning their ideas into impactful solutions.
All hands must be on deck. I also use the opportunity to remind our youths that life is not about jumping. You must crawl before you jump. And the fact that Nigeria is blessed.
Second takeaway I took from the program is that you have to develop yourselves in terms of skills and acquisition of knowledge.
I came here because I heard that they are doing this program, so I came here to come and show the world that me also am already good in tech. I can build a car. Also, I can build a drone controlling from the floor and go higher with camera, and also I can build a tester.
This initiative is a step towards building a self-reliant, innovative generation ready to drive African growth through production, creativity, and leadership. In Abuja, Suleiman Tobu Abdul Wahab, NTA News.
National Human Rights Commission says it remains unwavering in its mandate to promote and enforce human rights across Nigeria. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojukwu, made this known at the presentation of June 2025 dashboard in Abuja. The dashboard revealed that it recorded 327,154 complaints in the month of June 2025. The complaints reflect another sharp increase in human rights violations, including state and non-state actors.
The civil society and the media will urge sustained advocacy and amplification of these issues. We are also happy and proud to tell you that as at the 30th of June, we have resolved 20,137 cases.
And that concludes the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Stella Inameti.